Hi, I'm Mark Small. This is Civil Discourse Now. It's November 19th, 2024. We have problems brewing in this state because an individual is going to be occupying the office of Lieutenant Governor in January. He has no qualifications to do anything in education, and he's about to try and spread the pestilence of his beliefs into a local public school. Cassie Jackson is our guest today. Our friend, Cassie, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much too for getting on this topic. I've had a lot of movement today that's coming in today into my inbox related to the idea that Micah Beckwith is going to be attending Westfield High School in Hamilton County, Indiana, to speak to an agricultural class. Now, what I know is that there are a lot of parents and advocates up here that are really concerned about this, particularly because Mr. Beckwith in the past has advised and said that he will be coming into schools. He noted at that time middle schools, but this is a high school that he'll be entering to speak about the Constitution. So we're a little unclear about why he's coming to an agricultural class, except I can tell you that the agricultural teacher is one of his friends. And I'm going to be exploring that more. But I think what parents are really concerned about is the students who are going to be in his presence. And are we going to talk about food and agriculture? Are we going to talk about that? Or what are we really going to talk about, since you promised, you being Mr. Beckwith, that you'd be talking about the Constitution with our students?
And he doesn't know about the Constitution. He's a dumbass. I can go to specifics of that later, but he is a dumbass. Okay, so he's coming into an environment. He's going to be speaking to kids. What has been his real one of the things he frequently refers to in terms of LGBTQ plus rights and kids?
Yeah, so he has all kinds of problems with LGBTQIA flags. We have posts on him, and everything that I'm going to say in this, I just want to mention, like, I personally, as a social justice activist, I have receipts. I'm not going to say things that can get me defamation lawsuits, but we have posts from Mr. Beckwith on how upset he is about this rainbow flag, and that goes back for years. Multiple posts on that. He absolutely has. One of the most upsetting stories to me, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, is that he told a parent whose child committed suicide. And this was a few years ago, and the child was non-binary, did not, I believe, did not identify as straight, and told that father to his face that the child was likely possessed by a demon. And so that's what happens when humans are possessed by demons. The natural way for that to be rid is for God to, right, make sure
Yeah,
they're no longer alive. And so he said this to a father's face about their deceased child. And I'm off track now because that story alone. What were your
yeah,
questions?
wait, no, just a footnote. I'll say not only is he dumbass, he's an asshole.
I
Uh,
mean,
he doesn't know about the Constitution,
and Mark,
but
can you talk to us about what he says he's a professional on after hearing what he just said to that father of a deceased child?
oh, I mean, you shouldn't do anything like that. I
He's
mean,
a
you're
professional in morality, correct?
he says that he's an expert on morality.
That's right. It's the
Now,
expert, right?
in an odd way, if one believes Satan exists and is bad, one could say that Satan is an expert on morality too.
That
And
is so true, Mark.
yeah, and actually, he might be the one that's talking to Beckwith all these different
Well,
times.
you know that Beckwith thinks he's hearing from some kind of supernatural being or deity. And so, how do we? That's a great point. How in the heck do we know?
Sorry. But, when we're
That's
looking at local schools and kids having problems, and look, I mean, it sucked being in junior high when I was in junior high. It's now middle school. It sucked being in high school in a lot of ways. And you got all these different, you're changing in life. A lot of things are going on. And to have somebody who's saying that you have no legitimacy in who you are,
that's
that
right.
you're
But
evil if you go this path,
mhm. And I think that
that's
what should also, yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
that's what I'm saying.
I think that what's also really sad is that we cannot pretend that at the age of teenage, right, in high school, where you do have access to things, that these kids also are not aware of the political climate around them and also how their parents feel, right? So there is a palpable fear in many households right now with kids that are normal right? And kids that identify differently or have disabilities or have XYZ, there's a real fear among parents, right? And these kids will feel that. They are not stupid. The fact that there are already parents pulling their kids on Thursday from high school that aren't even from Westfield High School that aren't even in this class. They don't even want their child to have to be in his presence potentially, like accidentally pass him in the hall. They're pulling kids. I think, these kids understand more than we think. They're very smart of who Micah Beckwith is to their parents. And we can pretend like we don't care what our parents. No, that's not everyone. In the home, when you have the real fear and and your parents are talking about political candidates that are concerning and also want to engage you in this kind of civic discussion, or you just hear it, that to me could be potentially terrifying as a child.
Well, and Beckwith is not show the backlash of the community. James Briggs is an editorial writer for the Indianapolis Star. He posted an item yesterday, I believe, where he said, people were telling me, love it or leave it, I'm staying here. So he's getting public backlash for having lipped off to Beckwith. And Beckwith, just so everybody knows, Beckwith challenged me to a debate years ago, has never followed through on that. But then is pressing Briggs to have a debate. Beckwith, you want it? You come to me, you little bastard.
Seriously, you are such a little bitch, Mike. I'm just gonna say it. The fact that you want to go after a journalist, no, leave him alone. He does his work. You should come after someone who has history in debate. You have consistently denied Mark Small debate, and there is a reason for that, and that is because you don't have the fucking courage, dude. Like, if you did, and Mark, let's just be real. My shit has been blowing up anything Beckwith with, and I know yours does too. And whether we like it or not, are attached to Beckwith, right, in our advocacy, it comes to us. So people would absolutely be very enthralled and very excited if Mark Small, right, just as they were when I got to have a little podcast with Micah, got to actually debate Micah in a real forum with a real moderator. Like, I think we should go for it. Micah, you little coward, what you gonna say, boo?
Okay, so and here's the other thing. I mean, when you have somebody in a community who's trying to really rouse up hatred and telling people either love it here or leave it, let's look at it at a different level. If you want to press somebody and say leave here unless you accept what we're going to do to you, that is denying people their civil rights. One, two, more than likely, the people that they're saying love it or leave it are going to be more highly educated and be providing more important services to the community. So people are saying love it or leave it. You might want to reconsider that. It's something that I'm getting angrier with all the time, with the way people seem to be assuming that this somehow is a country that doesn't tolerate people's views under the name of freedom.
Right. And I can speak to that from medicine, because people say that to me both as a psychiatric provider, also as an abortion provider. And I'm just going to tell you this. We see statistics already of OBGYN profession, who's coming to Indiana after residency to practice, who's coming to the states that are really, really restrictive on if they can practice in the event that it comes up, even an OBGYN routine care, an abortion or a DNC. Do you think we're going to get the best graduates in the country coming to Indiana?
No,
do you think the medical students that graduate with honors are going to come and practice in a state that restricts their personal and medical belief that abortion is healthcare? They're not. And guess what's going to happen with that? The statistics of pregnant morbidity and mortality are going to go all the way up in this state.
Yeah, so the pro-life people really have a spike in numbers. But here's the thing: it not only is they're not wanting to be associated with a practice like that. Physicians that are in those fields of practice, or
not even those fields.
Wait.
Too. Sorry,
go. ER rooms, any of that, they have to worry about possibly criminal prosecution for something that laws are being passed by people who are basing like middle ages of witchcraft or something, which like, well, you can't do it because that's a human being in form or some crap. So what we have to do is this: tell them, no, it's not love it or leave it. People who really understand science are really kind of supportive of these things. If you don't like it, we can discuss it. If you won't discuss it, guess what? You don't get to lip off to me if I don't know what I'm doing. If you
and I would say the same is not just for that, but for like constitutional and laws. Like, you can't, what? Like, no way. Yeah.
Now on the other hand, if somebody in a little header says Beckwith strikes back or Micah strikes back, it doesn't really happen. Having people go out there and say that, I think
Sorry,
it's
I
called,
was late to that. Yes, keep
if you
going.
got a sidekick, like Liberty Valance had Strother Martin, yo, Liberty, that's kind of that's Strother Martin's voice there. It's not Liberty. That was Lee Marvin actually saying.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Mark. I'm going to interrupt you because I just thought of something and I'm going to lose it.
Go ahead.
We're talking about leaving the country. Micah's, so I have heard today, and let's fact check this. And let me just say before I say it, let's fact check it, but it's not something outrageous or that we can't. Micah's new, or one of Micah's campaign managers now, his name is Omar. I don't remember his last name. It starts with an H. Again, I come with receipts. Has a history of telling people who don't agree with him to leave the country, and he's a brown man. So we should talk about how much he wants to be up the ass of Micah Beckwith. And that's, I just had to bring that up because the people that are going to watch this that are my people know exactly who Omar is. And that's very, very sad for you, sir, because you will not be safe when police that don't know you think you are an illegal immigrant.
No. You can't go there. You can't say you won't be safe. You're saying
if police okay, let me go over. Let me start over.
Because he's not a white person.
There is a potential if you have biased police who are against illegal immigration and carry that into their roles of police, which they should not. You are at risk then for being identified phenotypically the way you look as being one of those people. That's what sorry, let me correct you.
Yeah, that's right. We're winding up Civil Discourse Now today on November 19th.
I don't want to wind it up. I would like to quickly talk about, if we can.
We're coming back because it's 15-minute segments.
But this has to do with the schools, and I want to talk about video and audio recording.
We're coming back in just a minute. We're doing another segment. Gosh, golly.
I love you. Okay, see you soon. Bye.
Be right back. Peace. Hold on. Don't.